Hello everyone and welcome to AEW Weekly, show where I'm going to be covering what happens on AEW TV weekly, so you have a place to go. You don't want to watch all 5 hours of wrestling, have a little short video to catch you up what happens throughout the week. That's going to include Dynamite, Rampage, and of course Collision. This will be the first episode of this. It'll be covering the 11th of July, the 13th of July and 14th of July episodes of AEW TV, which may as well get straight into right now. Let's go straight into Dynamite. On this show, a pretty good show, to be honest, all in all, quite fun, all in all. So, starts off with MJF cutting a promo, basically just talking about what happened the week prior where he attacked Daniel Garcia, main event against Ospreay. If you haven't gone and seen that, obviously watch it. Where MJF pretty much just announces the match versus Ospreay next week for Dynamite 250. That will be the July 17th episode, I think 17th, when that's airing. And then after that, we get our first match of the night. This is going to be a Owen Hart Foundation tournament final between Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page. If you want to obviously find out more about the Owen Hart Foundation, please go to the owenhartfoundation.org, where you can find out what it's all about, how you can help out and donate, all that kind of good stuff. Getting into this match now, we had, obviously, it's Bryan Danielson match. You're going to have a neck cell, a CTE cell. That happened about 3 minutes into the match. We have Hangman constantly targeting the neck, and hitting stuff like a swinging sleeper, just kicking the back of the neck, punk kicks, all of that good stuff. But he did end up winning the match as Danielson won with a roll-up pin to counter the label lock, funnily enough, that Hangman tried to beat Danielson with his own submission. And after countering him every single turn, still didn't come out on top. Moving on then to the next segment, we have Swerve doing another promo after this match, calling out Okada for a match, announces that he will be officially joining Team AEW at Blood and Guts, and most importantly, will become the team captain, and he'll be, currently, the only one announced is Mark Briscoe. Sorry, pardon me. Yeah, that'll be fun, facing Team Elite at the pay-per-view Blood and Guts. That's pretty much all the best to the promo. Nothing much really going on. Just general Swerve things, really. Now we get on to our next segment, which is the Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho learning tree. Did just forget Chris Jericho's name, just because I don't want to think about him. He gets too much TV time. So, this match, obviously coming off the back of Chris Jericho attacking Hook backstage with a fireball, bringing that back. Quite fun. I've actually quite enjoyed this sort of like learning tree sort of thing, even though it is terrible at sometimes he does actually make it work pretty well. Oh, also I forgot to say for the Danielson Hangman match, really fun match. Highly suggest you go and watch it. With these two, it's going to be a great match either way. But that lived up to expectations every turn. Getting back to the Samoa Joe versus Chris Jericho match. This was a, like, I think it was a street fight match. Basically, it's Extreme Rules. They're all the fucking same at this point anyway. But you just, general things going through the match, just have the two of them attacking each other, hitting each other with weapons, using the outside, all that good stuff. Till eventually, most noble thing, goes backstage. They go through, like, not the ramp stage, but like through the back, to the right side of the ramp, through the crowd, into like that production crew area thing. Go back through there, where Samoa Joe eventually gets Chris Jericho into a sort of coquina clutch, but it's more like just a standing sleeper hold. Which Big Bill, the Redwood, saves Chris Jericho from succumbing to the sleeper hold by hitting Mojo in the back with a chair. After this, there's now a forklift nearby this area where this happens with a pallet on the 2 forks, which Big Bill then proceeds to choke slam Joe straight on pallet. So cool looking. It was really, really fun. And all of this leads to the eventual beatdown of Mojo on this forklift, and then Chris Jericho, crazy event, driving through a fucking wall with Samoa Joe on the forklift, causing Samoa Joe to pass out, rightfully so, because he's been driven through a wall and is buried under everything. There's debris, there's wooden sticks, endo sticks, there's chairs. He's dead, basically. The doctors rule him out of the match because he can't continue, he's fully passed out. And then that match ends with Chris Jericho walking out saying, "I told you, Joe, this is what happens when you mess with the learning tree." Which obviously now, with this match, Chris Jericho has subsequently attacked all 3 members of this new faction team of Hook, Samoa Joe, and Ibada. Quite a fun match, all in all. For a Jericho match, it was pretty good, to be honest. He hasn't had great matches lately, but it was fun. It was fun. Moving on to our next match. Now, this is a 4-way Global Glory match. This means that is a 4-way match, obviously, where the winner will get an international title shot against Ospreay, we assume, at Wembley Stadium. Now, this is between Tomohiro Ishii, Claudio Castagnoli, Hack, and Kyle Fletcher. Just an important thing to note, on the previous week's Dynamite, pretty sure it was Dynamite previous, you had Ospreay officially leaving the Don Callis family for good, cutting all ties with it, doesn't want anything to do with it anymore. That may play a role in this match, may not, may play a role in the future, with Ospreay possibly getting attacked by a Don Callis family. We'll have to find out and see. For this match, gonna be great. Got incredible names in this match for the biggest stars. Currently in AEW, for my favourite stuff. Which, sorry. During this match, you had a pretty sick dual submission on Kyle Fletcher with Claudio and Pac. Claudio using a sharpshooter on his legs, and then Pac using his brutalizer on the top of the body as well. Pretty much just, I can imagine, immense pain for Kyle Fletcher. This looked horrendous to be in, but luckily, Tomohiro Ishii comes in and saves him, breaks up between the 3 of them. Leads to more wrestling, more holds, more suplexes, all that good stuff. Kyle Fletcher's selling in this match is honestly second to none. He's so good at selling. He makes everybody look incredible whatever the match that he's in. But fortunately, that doesn't get him, as Pac, surprisingly, wins with a black arrow to Kyle Fletcher, which then proceeds into a brutalizer where Kyle Fletcher submits and taps. Obviously, Tomohiro Ishii not here to save him this time. Then we're going to get Pac versus the international title holder at Wembley Stadium, probably going to be Ospreay. Looks to be a very fun match. Then, following this match, we had a promo from Pac in the ring saying that this victory is a line in the sand and that he will have his Wembley moment. Very, very fun. Really looking forward to that match. Next up, we have a backstage sort of promo kind of thing where Renee Paquette is doing a sort of like a catch-up kind of thing, review of what's happened with the Owen Hart tournament final. Hangman walks straight past her, doesn't interact with her at all, and accepts the Elite's offer, which was previously given to him. Officially joined the Elite now, and is on the Blood and Guts team for Elite as well. Next up, we have the Mercedes double celebration for the TBS title and the newly won New Japan Strong belt, which was won off Stephanie Vaquer at the most recent Forbidden Door. And she says that she's the past, present, and future, because she's the best there was, best there is, and best there ever will be as well. Obviously, just like last time with Mercedes interrupting the DMD's return, Dr. Britt Baker comes in now, interrupts the celebration, starts wiping out the security as well, quite a fun way, as Mercedes runs away through the crowd to get away from her. Obviously setting up a match, not next week though, that match Dynamite 250 is already announced. This will probably be the Wembley Stadium match, if I had to guess. But moving on, we then have a Darby Allin return promo. It's insane that he's returned. Beating up somebody, I can't remember his name, to be honest. He's one of the like Elite's friends, basically. Is all you need to know, and officially declares his intention for the Elite Dynamite 250, and specifically against Jack Perry and his TNT title. Now, I don't believe they have a match scheduled for Dynamite 250. I think it was just a all-out sort of thing. But still, very, very fun. Probably going to be on Team AEW for Blood and Guts, if you can imagine. But next up, we have our main event for this week's Dynamite, which is a Owen Hart Women's Tournament Final between Willow Nightingale and Mariah May. Mariah May comes out in a pink and black gear, honouring Owen Hart. Same with Willow Nightingale coming out in the black and gold gear that Owen used to wear. I forgot to mention earlier, Danielson also comes out in black and pink gear as well to honour Owen Hart. Very nice occasion. Now, during this match, we also get a we also get a little snippet in the corner saying that a match has officially been declared, a champion versus champion match between Okada and Swerve, Dynamite 250. Now, throughout this match, pretty good match. I mean, you've got Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. Going to be a fun match. This starts off kind of slow-ish, picks up rapidly though, and then we have Mariah May hitting Willow Nightingale with a hip attack, incorporating Toni Storm's moveset, which I thought was pretty fun. And also, a little side note, apparently, the Owen Hart final is Mariah's only 20th match in AEW. Obviously, signing last year for AEW. Great signing, by the way, one of the marquee ones here. During the match, Stokely and Chris interfere to take out Willow in their long-standing rivalry. Seems to be that no matter what Willow does, she can't get away from these two. Quite fun, hopefully, it leads to a Wembley match. I would love to see a match there, other than the Owen Hart tournament match that we had. Didn't really end up in anything. Other notable things is the finish to the match, which Mariah May counting a Death Valley driver with a roll-up pin, winning. We're now going to Wembley to face Toni Storm, the women's champion, and her mentor. Not for much longer though, because after the match, Mariah May blindsides Toni Storm with the belt, starts whipping both her and Luther, both of them now drowning in blood. Drowning, drenched in blood, I mean, right? As she whacks Toni Storm over the head with the heel multiple times, blood covered all over her face, then proceeds to kiss the busted up her face, and that's how we end the night. A broken Toni Storm with a Mariah May standing tall above her, holding her up by the head. All in all, really, really fun Dynamite. I really enjoyed this Dynamite. One of the all-timers, to be honest, and setting up for another all-timer next week as well. Moving on now, we go on to Rampage. Now, Rampage, hour of wrestling. Not much is going to happen on this show. I'll just go over some of the matches quickly. To be honest, if you don't watch this, you're not missing out. There's only really one match that you should watch, and I'll get to that when we get to it. But the Opener is Malachi and Brody King, the Kings of the Black Throne, versus Premier Athletes Ari Daivari, I think is how you say his name, and Tony Nese, with Josh Woods and Mark Sterling on the outside, and Daddy Magic on comms. He is paged a lot of the time. Now, the only notable things is that pretty much the Premier Athletes attack Brody King outside the ring a lot. All four of them pretty much just systematically take him down. Malachi gets hit by the lawyer Mark Sterling's clipboard. Quite fun. And then Brody also hits a charging, jumping crossbody onto Ari and Mark Sterling to the chair against the barricade. Quite a fun finish. Quite a fun spot. The finish, which I actually get to, is the win for the Kings of the Black Throne with a black mass to Tony Nese, while Brody King has Ari in a sleeper hold as he's dangling over the apron outside the ring. Quite a fun image to end the match. Okay match. Nothing much in it, to be honest. The next match, even less of anything in it, is the Conglomeration and Daddy Magic on comms for the Roddy Strong with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett of the Undisputed Kingdom versus Ben Bishop. Literally nothing match, ends in 2 minutes with a jumping knee strike. Roddy Strong wins, obviously. Then they have a stare down with the Conglomeration at the top of the ramp while they're still in the ring. Probably setting up for a match at some point. They've been feuding a little bit with Kyle O'Reilly, trying to bring him back into the fold. Pretty much just advancing that. Else. Next, we have a Deonna Purrazzo promo backstage talking about what pro wrestling is and liken it to a crescendo, constantly moving into a different beat all the time. And that she says she'll burn the place to the ground to start the era of the Virtuosa. Pretty alright promo. Nothing much in it. Next, we have the only match that is worth watching on this show today. Is Ray Phoenix versus Commander versus Angelico versus AR Fox. Quite fun match. Just lucha things all around, high-flying things. Although saying that, quite a physical match as well, as we have Ray Phoenix and Commander teaming up against Angelico and AR Fox, while it's still a four-way match. Angelico and AR Fox then team up as well to take on those two. So you sort of have it split into two sides. Notable things from the match is Ray Phoenix and Commander both jumping onto the barricade. They're running and jumping onto the barricade, then jumping off immediately to do like a pod kick, sort of like in midair, onto AR Fox and Angelico, I believe. Then we have an awesome submission from Angelico as well. Really, really good at submission. Angelico has learned it in Mexico. They get broken up by a springboard while Commander is walking on the ropes, does a springboard off the ropes to break it up. Very, very fun move. So Ray Phoenix is the one to get the win by submission to AR Fox after a failed frog splash. Doesn't get him the win. Not failed. Frog splash hits, but it fails to get him the win. Sorry, messed up my words. Next up, we've got a promo with the Learning Tree with an interview backstage with Renee Paquette. Pretty much the main essence of it was Jericho saying, if you listen to your Learning Tree, good things happen. Such in case with the Redwood and Bad Apple Brian Keith. If you don't listen to the Learning Tree, bad things happen with Hook, Shibata, now Samoa Joe as well, in a hospital, it's been confirmed. And that there will be a special segment of TV time on Dynamite 250 this coming week. Pretty much after that, the only really thing that happened, Big Bill gets a few sentences in, walks away after Chris Jericho walks away. Brian Keith, Bad Apple, then finishes the segment up with, if you don't respect Chris Jericho, we'll make you Jericho. Pretty alright promo, to be honest. Gets the point across all that it needs to. Nothing major, nothing terrible. So, alright promo, you know. Next up, we have a Rachel Ellering match versus Thunder Rosa, which Thunder Rosa wins a submission. Tell it's nothing match because that's the only note I've got written down for it. Which Deonna Purrazzo then runs out to attack Thunder Rosa, laying her out in the process in the middle of the ring. Then moving on to our main event, we have Top Flight with Action Andretti versus the Shane Taylor Promotions in a six-man tag team match. The only really worthwhile mentioning things in this match is Dante Martin running circles around Anthony Ogogo to start the match, pretty much just dodging him all the time, and then Shane Taylor Promotions isolating both Dante Martin and Action Andretti, taking them out all the time, systematically breaking them down. Like, alright. And then Shane Taylor Promotions win via a knockout punch to Action Andretti in the ring. Keep wanting to say Shane Taylor Productions for some reason. Every time I say it, I just think they're a movie company. Now, moving on to our final segment of the week, Collision, which starts off with Konosuke. Oh, for the Rampage one, by the way, not really worth watching. Watch the Rey Fenix match, that was really fun. Other than that, save yourself the time. Back to the Collision match though, so we've got Konosuke Takeshita versus Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington, like son to the great Dynamite Kid, wrestled out of Calgary, taking up the name now. Honestly, quite a fun match to open up. It's quite back and forth as well. Good showing for both. And my best moment of the match was both of them trying to hit a power driver at each other and doing like the cartwheel reversal sort of spot, doing that about 3 or 4 times until eventually, I believe, Takeshita gets the power driver. I think it was late at night when I watched it. Okay, it's like 3 a.m. But crowd really behind Tommy in this match. Makes sense. It's in Calgary. He's been wrestling out of Calgary for quite a while. Takeshita wins the match, but amazing showing for Tommy Billington, to which Don Callis, who was on comms the whole time, invites Tommy Billington to the Don Callis family, which he refuses, saying, "Kiss my ass." After a really long pause, did not need to be that long, to be honest. Just long for the sake of being long, I guess. Then Don Callis slaps him. Tommy Billington replies to this by shoving him out of the way, to which Takeshita runs in to attack him, and Kyle Fletcher comes out attacking them as well. Fortunately for Billington, though, FTR come out to rescue, following up like a stare down between the two factions. Pretty fun match, all in all. I recommend going to watch it. Next up, though, we have the Guns versus Michael Allen, Richard Clark, Short Lamore, and London Lightning. Why do you have 4 names in your wrestling? Regardless, nothing match. Again, this is pretty much just to get the Guns on the card, and that Juice Robinson is now, Colton Gunn. That's his name. Colton Gunn then says Juice Robinson is now an official trio champion since Jay White is out injured in his match against Hangman Page. To which Christopher Daniels comes out to strip them of the titles since subs aren't allowed, and if one member isn't able to compete, all of them lose the belts. And then following this, Christian Cage comes out and says that they should be the one to get the trios tag titles, the Patriarchy. Obviously, Christopher Daniels denies, then sets up a match between the Patriarchy and the Bang Bang Gang sometime in the future. It's not, they were going to have it right there then Christian Cage does like the classic heel thing, so they don't have it. It's not planned for anytime soon. They at least didn't have a graphic showing it was anytime soon. Obviously, it could be announced in the next coming days or on Dynamite. Don't know. After this, we have an ominous House of Black promo with Malachi Black and Brody King, saying that next week in Arlington, Texas, which I believe is the Collision show, we will witness the foundations of Wembley via the House of Black. Nothing really much in it. That's all they said. Now, on to our next match is a Roderick Strong with the Kingdom behind him, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, versus Dalton Castle with the Outrunners as his boys. this match. The winner gets a title shot at the title shot for the Ring of Honor World Title at Death Before Dishonor. I believe is a few days after Wembley. No, a few days after Blood and Guts, I think. I think so. Can't quite remember. Anyway, they get a title shot at Death Before Dishonor. Pretty fun match between them. Lots of running knee spots and mat wrestling, with eventually Roderick Strong winning and going on to face Mark Briscoe at Death Before Dishonor, followed up by a promo from Briscoe from his home in like the Chicken Farm wrestling ring place, basically hyping up Blood and Guts versus the Elite and hyping up the Death Before Dishonor match. Nothing really much else in it. Then we get a small little package saying that next week we will have the debut of Hologram, aka Aramis, a very proficient lucha wrestler. If you know him, seen his stuff, you're very excited that he's going to be coming in. I think that's on Dynamite, but I might be wrong. It might be on Collision. I'm not quite sure. All I know is he's debuting next week. After this, we get a Chris and Stokely promo saying that everything Willow had this year has been because of them, and since everything she's had has come because of them, they've quote unquote brought her into this world and they're going to take her out of it. Basically just forwarding the feud more and more. I'm really glad it didn't end in the Owen Hart semi-finals match, because that would have been a really, really weak off, but thankfully getting more of it. Because I love this so much. Next up, we've got a Ava Wallace versus Nyla Rose match, in which Nyla wins in 3 minutes in a squash, pretty much as expected. Also noted, this is a 60th singles win. The commentary. I don't know if this is total or if this is in a row. I'm not quite sure. But that's what they said, so I'm pointing it out to you. After this, we have another top flight match versus Shane Taylor Promotions. This time it's a 2-on-2 with Action Andretti on ringside and Shane Taylor on ringside as well. So we've got Dante Martin and Darius Martin on top flight side versus Anthony Ogogo and Tiger Style Lee Moriarty, sorry. So, pretty nothing match, to be honest. Nothing really happened. It was alright, it was fun. Nothing really to say about it, except for a top flight win despite Shane Taylor's small interferences throughout the match. Although Shane Taylor Promotions there attacked Top Flight all together after the match, all three of them laying out each member of Top Flight, furthering this feud they've been having for a few weeks now. Okay, I don't really care about Shane Taylor Promotions. Top Flight's fun, but Then after this we have a Deonna Purrazzo interview backstage, to which Thunder Rosa comes out into it at the same time. Basically, just talking about how Deonna Purrazzo attacked her on Rampage the previous night, and then Thunder Rosa sets up a lumberjack match for next week on Collision in Arlington, Texas. Don't know what a lumberjack match is, but find out next week, I guess. Probably going to be another Extreme Rules, which means the same thing. Oh well. After this, we return from the break to get a Nyla Rose promo in sets up a match between her and Mercedes Moné in Mercedes' open challenge for the TBS title on Dynamite 250 this Wednesday. After this, we then have a Sky Blue vs Harley Cameron match with Saraya, two members of the Outcasts. Pretty nothing match, to be honest. Like 5-10 minutes, something like that. Nothing really happened except for Harley Cameron tapping out to Sky Blue in a pretty meh match. There was mostly just the Outcasts screaming at either Sky, the crowd, or the ref. I say screaming, it was more like screeching. It was horrible to listen to. Please get Saraya off my TV. Then, during this time, looked on Twitter, At the same time as this, the triple threat match at CMLL, where Will and Nightingale faced off against Vivan and Luluvia. Will and Nightingale won that match to be crowned the new CMLL World Women's Champion. Very cool for her, very fun. Love that. So, after this, we then get a Sky Blue backstage promo challenging former world champion Hikaru Shida to a match next week to prove she's the best on the roster, going after one of the best. So that'll be quite a fun match. I believe that's on Collision, I think. Then we get to our main event and final match of the night that I'll be talking about on this episode between Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly, the conglomeration. I have such an annoying word to say. Versus the Kingdom of Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Now, we start off this match with neither member of the Undisputed Kingdom wanting to fight, Kyle O'Reilly. Obviously, good friends, previous tag partners, they don't want to fight him. Kyle's up for it though, he wants to fight them both. Eventually, because of this, Cassidy tags in and proceeds to suicide dive out of the ring to attack both Mike Bennett and Taven. Then, at some point during the match, Roderick Strong comes down. He's on commentary, by the way. Roderick Strong comes down to help the Kingdom, to which Ishii runs out to stop the interference, obviously friends with Kyle O'Reilly. And during this interference, another interference happens with Trent Beretta coming out to attack Cassidy outside the ring, which leads to a Undisputed Kingdom victory against a lone Kyle O'Reilly getting pile-drived. Sort of like the package pile-drive one the Young Bucks do. After this match, Trent is basically shouting at a grounded Cassidy outside, saying that they aren't done and that he was meant to win their match, and that he getting mixed up with my course of events. During this, Matt Taven says that Kyle is one of us and he knows it. Then go back to Trent. It's very confusing. It was a lot happening, okay? After this, then we go back to Trent going into the ring to attack Kyle O'Reilly, saying Cassidy can't have any friends, to which the Kingdom come to save Kyle O'Reilly, which I thought was quite a fun spot. And then it leads to Cassidy attacking Trent with a monkey wrench. Fucking whacking him straight on the head. But then he goes to hit him again, the crowd's all for it one more time. Kyle O'Reilly is like begging him to calm down at this point. And then the show ends with those two standing tall over Trent Beretta in the ring. Yeah. That was the end of this week of AEW TV. Quite a fun week, to be honest. Collision, I'd watch. Dynamite, I'd definitely watch. Rampage, only really watch the Ray Phoenix, Commander, Angelico and AR Fox match. That was the only really fun match on this card. To be honest, there's quite a few you can skip in Collision card as well. Most of it was a nothing match after that. But then you had really fun matches out as well. Yeah, quite a fun week for AEW TV. I'll be seeing you next week on Sunday or Monday, depending when I get a time to edit and record. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week for another episode of AE Weekly.